It's graduation time. Hundreds of thousands of young adults across this country are walking on some stage getting a diploma. The question that most of us ask during this time is, so what do you want to do with your life? It's a good question, but I think it misses the mark. The question is not as much about tomorrow as it is about today. It's about your next step. Foul up your next step, and your plans for next year can become irrelevant. In an instant of squinting to see far ahead in your life, your plans for your life can change from excitement to survival. How does God lead you to your future? What is God's technique? Let's talk. I recently returned from an amazing adventure in Glacier National Park. I solo hiked during the winter months and was told by a ranger, "You will be alone out there. No one else has a backcountry permit." Okay, reality check. You know, when you understand the odds are stacked against you, the one thing you don't want to do is mess up your next step. A twisted ankle or a broken leg several days hike from any help keeps you focused on your next step. You know that each step matters, and the daily goal of making camp does not matter if you're laying at the bottom of a ravine covered in snow. Here's my point. Every step matters. Every stage of your life, every day, every decision, every thought, every move. They all matter, and every single one of them can either propel you towards God's purpose in your life, or they can wreck your life. The book of Proverbs says there is a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death. So God is warning us not to seek our own direction, because it's going to feel right. It's going to seem right. Hang on to those words. It's going to feel right, but instead to obey His leading. He is not saying ignoring your plans ahead. Look for those things. He's telling us to be ready to adjust course because you could be wrong in those plans. It's kind of like this chessboard. Certainly, it's important to plan ahead and to anticipate 4 and 5 moves out, but my enemy is trying to outmaneuver me and make me lose. And God is saying that even I can end up being my own worst enemy and playing against myself. I glance ahead and try to anticipate a possible move. But the key is intently studying my next move, my next step, or I risk losing the whole game. In life, that involves not just seeking God's direction, as important as that is, but carefully and methodically adhering to God's guidance. I want you to picture your entire life as a room. Since you entered the room, however many years ago that was, you've been walking towards the other side. You know, death. During that time, you have strained your eyes to see what your future holds, where you are going, and even trying to plan some strategy on how to get there. Wherever there is. But there is a problem. You can't see the future. The room is dark and filled with obstacles. So here is what God is saying about your steps. Don't worry so much about what's out there in the dark, waiting for you. I just want you to look down at your next step. And here's the really cool part. God doesn't leave you guessing about what to do next. I find that God uses a flashlight, not a floodlight, but a flashlight to show me where to go. He holds that light close to the ground so He doesn't let me see much else, but asks me to step here, not there, but right here, and to trust Him. Put faith in Him when He tells me to step. You will never know your full potential, your ultimate dream, your God-given purpose until you listen to and obey God's flashlight leading. So when you finally get through the room of life and you get to the final door, the bottom line is God wants to help you get there. And He's very concerned about the who, what, when, why, and how of how you live your life. So are you going to step carefully today? Are you going to take a step closer to your dream? That is what God is building for you as your dream? Or are you going to step foolishly and give yourself those worn out excuses that I know I've given myself a million times? Something like, it's just for today, or I'll start tomorrow, or I'll stop tomorrow. I know God wants me to, but look down for His flashlight leading. It's there. You may not like where it's shining. In fact, it will likely show you a path that will cost you something. But does it really matter? When God says step here, who am I, who are you to say no? I would, but my family, my friends, my job, my 401k, my standing in the community, my whatever. When God says step, we need to step. So in the last 5 weeks, we've started to understand how God leads. God's touch is what? It's loving. God's tone, it's very understanding. God's time, It's perfect. God's target is you. And God's technique is with a flashlight, not a floodlight. I'll end this series with this thought from C.S. Lewis. Quote, "To step out of God's will is to step into nowhere."